Hey everyone, let's test out some new drugstore makeup products. I have a lot of fun launches here from e.l.f, Catrice, Essence, ColourPop, Covergirl, things that I'm excited to try out that I think will either be really long wearing for the summertime or really lightweight and comfortable for the summertime. Today is like the perfect day to put these to the test because it is hot outside. We've been experiencing a little bit of a heat wave here in the Northeast. It's like 90 degrees this week, which I know for a lot of people that's like nothing during the summertime, but for us, it's pretty hot and we don't usually get those or that hot of temperatures for an extended period of time. It tends to hover around like the 80-degree mark, which I feel like is perfect for summer. So anyway, I feel like today will be a really good day to try these products out. I'm going to go for more of a long wearing matte full coverage makeup look, and I have a lot of lip products to test out in today's video, so I'll just kind of apply them as we go throughout the video. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this lip oil from ColourPop. This is the So Juicy Plumping Glossy Lip Oil. So ColourPop has their Luxe Lip Oil formula. Unless they discontinued it, I'm pretty sure that's still available, and that has never been my favorite. I just feel like it disappears so quickly, and it's more of a lightweight, balmy formula. It doesn't give me a ton of shine or a lot of moisture. So I was personally excited when I saw they were launching this formula because I do love the So Juicy Plumping Glossy Balms. Those have been one of my favorite products. And as far as like click up glossy balms go, I think that's the best formula. They look very shiny, super glossy. Like that's probably one of the most reflective lip oils I've tried in a really long time, or I guess swatched in a really long time. They feel a little bit sticky on the hand, like as I'm touching them. There's definitely a little bit of a tackiness to them, and they say online they have like a peppermint cookie flavor, which I can definitely smell. They smell really minty. I'm using the shade Hit Stiff, which is just like a nice everyday color. Okay, as I'm applying it to the lips, I can smell a little bit more of the vanilla. So I would say it's a mix between like vanilla and peppermint cookie. It smells really good, and there is a little bit of a cooling tingle there. So I'm assuming they're meant to be plumping. It's definitely not an uncomfortable tingle, but I can feel that cooling sensation. So I like the way it looks on the lips. It definitely has a really pretty shine to it, really nice glossy finish, which I feel like the original lip balms, original lip oils were missing. But I don't know, it was hard to get the applicator out. Let me just show you. Like, I feel like you have to really, I'm trying to be careful, pull it, and then it just drips everywhere. And there's just like lip oil everywhere on my microphone, on my table. It was on the actual packaging. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. We'll see how it actually wears, but the packaging, there's just something kind of off about it. So CoverGirl actually launched a new line of primers. They're available for $12.99 on Ulta's website. Usually CoverGirl is a little bit less expensive at the actual drugstore or at Target, but I didn't see them on Target's website yet, so they might end up being just a few dollars less. But basically, you're supposed to be able to use these alone or mix them together depending on your skin needs. So I actually grabbed two of these. There was another one that I'm kind of curious about, but I thought I would start with these two. So I have the Plush Plump Skinenhancer, and this one is a cooling water-based cream. It's supposed to give you a natural dewy finish and then revive tired-looking skin, which I could absolutely benefit from. But they also say that it's supposed to help your makeup apply evenly and stay put. So I thought I would use this on one half of my face, and then I'll use the other one on the other half. Generally speaking, I wouldn't expect a super hydrating primer to really lock my makeup into place, but they say this one does help with that. It's very thin. It kind of reminds me of the Smashbox Primerizer, which is what I compare like all hydrating primers to, because for such a long time, that was my go-to. So I'm going to give that one a second to kind of sink in. Automatically, I feel like that's going to be more ideal if you have dry skin and you want something super refreshing, really hydrating. It definitely leaves my skin feeling refreshed. And I like the fact that it is so lightweight because it does sink in quickly. But I feel like I'm going to like this one better. This one is their Sticky Grip Skin Enhancer. So I'm assuming this one is going to be more so like the e.l.f. Power Grip. It's CoverGirl's version of that. It's a sticky, lightweight gel that gives you a dewy finish, and it's also supposed to tighten your skin over time and grip makeup. Personally, I love a good gripping primer. Right now, the e.l.f. Jelly Pop is my favorite. I don't know. I thought the e.l.f. Jelly Pop and the e.l.f. Power Grip were almost identical, but I've been using the e.l.f. Jelly Pop for like the past week and a half, and I swear it makes my skin look so smooth, and it does make my makeup last even on these super hot days. So this texture is definitely lighter than the e.l.f. Power Grip. The e.l.f. Power Grip is pretty thick. It's very, very tacky. So I understand why some people don't like that, because if you aren't a fan of like a thicker, sticky base, it can feel like a lot. This one is a lot thinner. Okay, it's been a few minutes, so the primers have had time to sink in. So I'm going to apply foundation on top. Okay, wait, that threw me off for a second because at first this side felt a little bit tackier than this side, but they actually feel really, really similar. Like they almost dried down to the same exact feel. And I used the sticky one on this side and the Plush Plump on this side. So I feel like my skin actually looks and feels the same on both sides. So let's see how makeup applies to these products. And I almost think I'm going to get the same exact results from both sides, even though they felt a little bit different. I'm using a go-to staple for foundation, my favorite, the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. I'm currently mixing together 2 shades. So I have 30 Neutral Sand, which is a little bit darker, and then a 7 Cool Nude, which is a little bit lighter. So this is my favorite foundation of all time. It is very, very long wearing on its own. It kind of adapts to whatever primer you pair it with. So if you're using a matte primer, it tends to look a little bit more matte, but if you're using a glowy primer, you can get a little bit more of a luminous look. Typically when I am trying out a new primer or a new powder or even a new concealer, I will always wear it with this foundation at least once or twice because I know how this wears so well because it is my absolute favorite. So since I'm trying out 2 new primers today, I thought I would wear them with this. And again, it has been so hot outside, you guys. I have a really matte powder that I'm going to be trying out in today's video as well. So I'll really be able to tell how these products hold up alongside of this foundation because this really is one of my go-tos on super hot, humid days. Okay, here's how my foundation looks on top of these primers. I think it looks really good. I think it maybe looks a little bit better on the side where I have the sticky or gripping primer, just because it creates like an extra smooth, even look. And that's typically the case with sticky primers. Let me see how these wear, and I'll pin a comment in the comment section below with an update on like the initial wear tests. Again, I'm just going to go with a staple concealer. This is from Catrice. It's the True Skin Concealer. I have the shade Cool Cashmere. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this and kind of give it like a second or two to dry down a little while I apply some cream bronzer, and then I'll blend everything out. So I am going to start with cream bronzer today, the Makeup Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer in the shade Light. I probably won't over apply this because I have been going in with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer. This is so good. It's not a brand new launch. e.l.f. has had this available on their website, but I think they only had 1 shade. And years ago, when I initially loved this, they did have more shades, and then they slowly started discontinuing them until there was only 1 left. And then I think just maybe a few weeks ago, they came out with additional shades of this in the Primer Infused Blushes. This formula is so good, and I loved them in the past. Like, I thought they were so good back in the day when I loved them years ago, but I swear they've gotten a little bit better. They're just so creamy, incredibly smooth. And I said in a recent video, I think I even like them better than the new NYX Buttermelt bronzers, which those really impressed me. But I just think the e.l.f. bronzer is extra creamy. It looks amazing on the skin. So I will go in and apply a little bit of that in just a second. But again, when I'm going for like a true long wearing makeup look, I typically do layer a little bit of cream underneath. I don't know if I'll do a cream blush today though. I can't find any of my go-to concealer brushes, so I'm going to use this one. It's from the brand Half Caked. I actually really like their brushes. I haven't tried too many of their makeup products, but I have tried some of their makeup brushes and they're really nice. This is their 210 brush, which is technically where they market it as a setting brush, but I just feel like the shape could be good for concealer. It's a little bit bigger than I would typically go for concealer, but it's working well. I'm just going to set under my eyes with this powder from Essence. I've been using this again, especially now that it's been so hot outside. I just feel like it works so well. It is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, and it has the most beautiful, just like smooth, silky texture to it, but it also just locks that concealer into place all day. I'm just going to go over my eyelid as well. I should have gone in with the new e.l.f. eyelid primer. That is so good. I've been using that over the past week, and I feel like it really makes a difference. My eye makeup actually lasts longer when I use that, so I feel like that's a great option if you do want a long-lasting eye primer, especially for the warm weather. But I feel like this just does the job. So anyway, I'm just using this powder on like the center of my face just to kind of brighten things up, lock things in. I do have a new powder I want to try, which I guess I could have used that. I'll use that for the rest of my face. It is the Catrice All Matte Plus Shine Control Powder. I'm kind of curious if this is basically going to be the same as the Essence All About Matte Powder. Because Essence and Catrice are sister brands, sometimes I feel like their formulas can be very, very similar when it comes down to certain products. So I love the Essence All About Matte Setting Powder. It is so good during the summertime because it is like the most mattifying powder I've ever tried. So I actually like it to set my makeup into place, but then it's really great for touch-ups throughout the day too. I usually go through one of those every single summer. This one, it feels a little bit less powdery, but it definitely mattified my skin. I love a good super matte finish. I haven't been doing a lot of really matte makeup looks. I feel like everything is hydrating and glowy and luminous and satin, and I do love products like that too. But in the summertime, I feel like nothing beats like a complete matte look. So I'm going to go do my brows off camera just to save a little bit of time. But first, I'm just going to spray the Milani Make It Last Setting Spray. And again, because it's hot outside, I feel like this is a nice step to do like in between as you're doing your makeup. Okay, so I'm going to let this setting spray dry, do my brows really quickly, and then I'll be right back to do my eyes. Okay, so I did take off the ColourPop lip oil, but I have to say, I really like this formula. Even though I know my first impressions were kind of on the fence, it's pretty long lasting. As I was doing my brows, I was looking in the mirror, my lips looked super glossy. There was like a hint of color there, but I do think if I left this on, it would have lasted probably through the entire video. So I'm going to test those off camera a little bit longer, but I really do want to try out all of these lip products today and just kind of see what they're like. So I have another lip oil. This one is from Essence. It's called Got a Crush on Apricots. I'm curious to know if this is going to be the same as the Essence So Juicy lip oils or the other Essence lip oils. Why is the name completely escaping me? I'll put a picture of it on the screen for you. I love those so, so much, but I know a lot of people don't love the scent of those. This one has like a, I don't know, it's pretty subtle actually. I picked up a few products from this new collection. I think I thought it was a peach collection when I was buying them, but it's actually an apricot collection. This is like a true, very thin, oily lip oil. I don't think it's going to last more than a couple minutes on the lips. It's cute. I just don't think it's going to be a must-have. It basically looks clear on the lips. So today I'm going to use the ColourPop Precious Metals palette. This is a little bit of a newer launch. It is ColourPop's newest palette. I talked about this a little bit when I did my Natasha Denona Golden palette review, because surprisingly, there were a lot of similar shades, not exact dupes, but very close shades in this palette compared to the Natasha Denona Golden palette. So obviously you get a lot of warm tones in here. You get a row of like golden shades, orangey, bronzy tones, some reds, and then also some cool tones, which I love. So this really is like the perfect mix of warm tones, cool tones, and then neutral shadows as well. I've used this a few times and the quality is really nice, especially the metallics. They're super smooth, very, very creamy, and then the matte shadows blend out well. So today I kind of want to do a little bit of a warmer look just because I do have some warm tone cheek products I'm going to apply as well that I feel like will complement a warmer look well. I don't know though, because I kind of want to play with the center shades too. Let's start with this shade right here, actually. I think I'll do a little bit of like an orangey, maybe reddish, brownish look. I don't think I've done something like that on camera for a little while, so let's go for that today. I feel like that's good for summertime. This is blending out well. I've used this palette a few times and I haven't had any issues with it. It's been a little while since I've seen a ColourPop palette that's really pulled me in, and my past few experiences with ColourPop palettes haven't been that great. I feel like the quality hasn't been as good as I remember. Let me do this eye off camera just to save a little bit of time. I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here. I almost feel like I'm going to end up mixing a couple of warm tones and cool tones together, which I don't know why. Like in my mind, whenever I'm doing my makeup, I'm like, oh, it has to be a warm look or it has to be a cool look. But that is not necessarily the case. I feel like it's a weird hang up I have. Like, I don't know if it's just the way my brain works. Like, I don't tend to be super creative with color combinations, which is why I tend to do a lot of like monochromatic looks. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, if I'm wearing warm toned eyeshadow, I have to wear warm toned cheek products and a warm lip. I can't mix warm tones and cool tones. And that's not a rule, but my brain likes to tell me it is. So let's just kind of play around with a mix today of the warm shades and the cool shades. I think I'm going to do this shade in the crease just to warm it up a little bit. This one is called You're Solid. I feel like this one is going to be pretty pigmented. So I'm just going to start off with a little bit of a lighter hand. I love these tones. They're so pretty, and I feel like I haven't been wearing a lot of shades like this lately. Like I've been doing, I don't even know what I've been doing, probably just something a little bit softer overall because I haven't been playing around too much with eyeshadow. Just when I'm in a hurry, I feel like eyeshadow is what typically goes first. But honestly, this is the ColourPop quality. This is the quality I think of when I think of ColourPop. Like everything is just so creamy, so seamless, blends out in seconds. And I remember when I talked about this in a purchase or pass video, I said I felt like they just kind of put like a little bit more effort into the marketing behind this palette. So part of me thinks maybe they did use a little bit of a higher quality formula because they thought it was going to be a big hit. But they just had some really pretty videos, like a lot of close-up shots, just emphasizing the different textures. And it kind of looked like something maybe a high-end brand would do. So in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, maybe they are trying to, I didn't like have a specific palette I thought they were trying to dupe, but I did feel like maybe they were trying to kind of capture the attention of the audience that tends to prefer high-end shadows a little bit more with this one. Okay, I'll clean this up when I'm done. Everything will kind of look slightly neater in the end, but it's kind of like a trust the process type of look. So I think I'll end the matte shadows with this one, and then I'll play around with some of the really beautiful metallics and glitters. This one is called Lucky One. I'm going to keep this a little bit lower and still apply it in the outer corner just to create a little more depth. I don't want to blend this one up into the crease. Yeah, everything is just so creamy and smooth. There's no patchiness at all. And my eyelids have been so dry lately. Even though it's been so hot outside, I don't know if I had like an allergic reaction to something I was testing out, but one day after I washed my face, I was like, my eyelids are so dry. It feels like it's winter time. So truthfully, the shadows should be skipping and looking pretty patchy. I mean, I think I got it under control. I went back to my IT Cosmetics eye cream and I do apply that on my eyelid and it's just the best. It's so creamy and smooth. Okay, I kind of flew through those steps, quite honestly. Let's go in with this red one. Just like I don't want like a super red look. I think I'll go in with this and then I'll top it with this. But I was saying I feel like I flew through those kind of fast. So my husband and I both work from home, which is great. We really both love being self-employed just because we can kind of create our own hours. We have a little bit more flexibility and we do have childcare a few times a week. So there are days where we both have like the day to get our work done. But otherwise, we're just both trying to balance our schedules. And when I'm filming, usually like he's with the kids either outside or they go out, like they have some activities that they do every week and they're actually on their way home soon. So that's why I kind of flew through that. To be honest, I do not love that red shadow. I feel like it almost ruined the look a little bit. So I'm hoping the shade that I'm going with on top, this one kind of covers it up. It is a pretty shadow, don't get me wrong. It's just like a little bit too red for what I'm going for today. And yeah, this is definitely covering it up, but I don't feel like that's exactly what I had in mind either. I guess I don't really know. I was thinking kind of like a peachy look. Let me just blend out the edges on this. I feel like this, I like this better than the red. But I'm telling you, the quality of this palette is really, really good. It feels like elevated ColourPop, which is so nice to see because that just hasn't really been my experience with the last few ColourPop palettes I've tried. Okay, I'm going to use the Essence Superfine Liner Pen. I bought this a few months ago when it was actually a new product, but I haven't really tested it out enough to know if I love it or not. Like when I swatch it on the back of my hand, it's definitely not smudge proof, but I feel like on the eyes, it's fine. So I thought today would be a good day because it is going to be really hot out. I can really put it to the test to see if it ends up smearing or smudging or fading throughout the day. Okay, just cleaned up this area a little bit just to kind of sharpen the wing. I don't know what to do for the lower lash line. I think I might take this lighter pink shade and just blend a little bit of that on there. I don't want to go with like an intense dark brown because I'm not necessarily looking to do a really dark smoky lower lash line. I just want to keep it kind of soft, but I do feel like I need something there to kind of tie it together. Actually, I have this Essence eyeshadow stick, which I feel like could be pretty on the waterline. It's the Blend in Line eyeshadow stick, and this one's in the shade Oh My Ruby. Again, I bought this a few months ago and I really haven't played around with it very much. So at this point, it's no longer really considered like a true new launch, but it kind of goes with my makeup look today. Okay, that is obviously a little bit more dramatic than what I had going on, but let's see if this actually stays in place well. I am just going to take this lightest shade right here and just use that on my brow bone just to go over the edges, diffuse everything together, create more of a seamless look. And that's pretty much it for the eyeshadow. Honestly, this was a very easy, very effortless look. It's really pretty. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, this is smudge proof. This is not moving. So if this color actually stays in the waterline, I will be so happy about that. Okay, time to try out another lip product. I am so curious about this. This is from e.l.f. This is their Sun Boss Gloss Broad Spectrum SPF 25 lip gloss. And I got the shade Blush Much. Okay, I love the texture of this. It's a little bit thicker. It's kind of like a balmy gloss rather than a super shiny gloss. It definitely has like that thick, rich, plush texture that I love. I always kind of reference that, and that is one of my favorites. They had a lot of really beautiful shades. I couldn't decide which one to try, but I didn't want to purchase a bunch of them before knowing whether or not I liked the formula. And I can already say I really like this. I feel like as I was applying it, I kind of noticed more of like a coconut scent, but if you're really trying to notice it, you can smell a little bit of sunscreen in there, but nothing too over the top. It looks beautiful. Like this is the perfect texture for this type of product because I think it's going to be moisturizing and it's going to be something that you want to reapply because it feels really good. It looks really pretty. So I'm excited about this one, honestly. I cannot wait to try this out. So this is from Covergirl. It's their Eye Enhancer 3D Mascara. It's supposed to curl, lift, and fan. It comes in two shades, Intense Black and then Berry Brown. In a recent video, I was talking about how I really love the Covergirl Cleantopia Aquamarine Mascara because it's basically a black mascara with just like a very subtle hint of blue. And one of you actually said this one is perfect if you want like a berry toned brown mascara. Okay, as I'm initially applying this to the eyes, it is colorful. Like I can tell it's not a typical brown mascara. It's almost the same color as my eyeshadow. So I don't know if it's going to, I feel like it might just completely blend into my eye look. This might be better for days where I'm doing like a very, very simple eye makeup look, like either bronzer in the crease and highlighter on the lid, no eyeliner, and then just a really pretty mascara. I feel like maybe this would be a little bit more ideal for those days because already I'm like, wait, I think it's totally just blending into my eyeshadow. The formula itself feels nice too. The wand is a little bit curved, so I feel like it is going to do a good job of actually lifting my lashes, and I feel like I am getting separation. I'm also getting volume. All around, it's going on nicely. So give me a second to kind of build this up and see how it works. Okay, here's how the mascara looks. I have two coats on. I feel like it's almost fully dry. Interestingly enough, I do feel like it dries just a little bit darker than when I was initially applying it, and I like that. I like that a little bit better because when I had it on before it fully dried, I was like, whoa, that is right. And I thought it was a really fun color, but I feel like my eyelashes, they don't give me the effect I want. Like I always want dramatic lashes, and when I'm wearing a little bit more of a colorful mascara, sometimes I feel like they blend into my eyeshadow, which can be really pretty if that's the effect you're going for. I'm curious to wear this with like basically no eye makeup and no eyeliner and see how it looks then. But I love the color. I think it is so stunning. It's really beautiful. It's like a colorful mascara without being over the top. So what do you think? Are you a fan of the shade? I do like the formula too. I think I probably will buy it in black because it definitely lifts the lashes really well. Like I feel like I got some good curl there, a lot of volume, a little bit of length, but definitely more volume than length. It is supposed to be like a long wearing, flake-free, smudge-proof mascara, so we'll see how that goes throughout the day, but I do think it is a really gorgeous color, and it's a fun option if you want to try something a little bit different when it comes to mascara. Okay, moving on to the cheeks. I do want to apply some more bronzer. I feel like this look just needs a little bit more color on the cheeks. So like I said, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer, and I have the shade Tan O'Clock. The nice part about this bronzer is it's basically impossible to mess it up. It looks so smooth and gorgeous on the skin, and you could go in with a deeper shade. I mean, depending on your skin tone, obviously you'll kind of know which shade to grab. I went with a little bit of a lighter bronzer just because I do have a tendency to kind of go overboard with my bronzer. I wasn't sure what kind of pigment it was going to have, and I feel like it does build up nicely, but you can also go in with a lighter hand. I do have a really heavy hand with bronzer, and it's not always something I notice once I do my makeup and I like go about my day, but when I'm filming and editing back, I'm like, what were you doing? So anyway, I like this bronzer just because it basically melts into the skin. It looks so pretty, so smooth, very soft. It's creamy. It really is like the perfect formula in my mind. I don't know that I really have any complaints about it at all. Okay, so for blush, the one that I had picked out, I don't know if it's really going to go with this look. It's the Essence Got a Crush on Apricots Aura Blush. It is a powder blush. Let me just swatch this. It's described, okay, I think it's going to be a little bit softer than it is in the pan. Is it even going to show up? I'm not getting much when I swatch it on the back of my hand. That's like 3 swatches. There's like nothing there. Let's apply it to the cheeks and see. Online it says that you're supposed to get like the perfect even flush every single time. I mean, I like a very subtle blush, don't get me wrong. Just swatching it, I wasn't getting much from it. So it is a matte blush, which normally I'm just not into matte blush, but lately I feel like it's probably the fact that it's summertime. I've kind of been switching it up and going for matte bronzer, matte blush. Okay, I'm getting a little something there. Like it is a little brighter on this side, a little peachier than it is on the other side. But I don't know if you have a little bit of a darker skin, a little bit of a darker skin tone than me, or a significantly darker skin tone than me, this might not be the most ideal option. The formula itself is pretty underwhelming. Like it definitely doesn't create an extra smooth effect on the skin. It is like a true matte blush. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty, but I don't think it's the blush that looks really pretty on my skin. I feel like it's the primer, the foundation, the bronzer underneath it that's creating like a little bit more of a smooth effect rather than the blush. It's nice. I just don't know that it's like a run out and grab type of blush. I don't know. Maybe I take it back. Like it does look nice. I don't know that there's anything like really super special about it, but it did go on easily. To add a little bit of a glow though, I am going to go in with the highlighter from the collection. Mine arrived shattered. It wasn't just like a little shattered, it was everywhere. It was on every single product in my bag. So just something I want to note, I also read online that a few other people said theirs arrived shattered as well, and this is only sold online. So it's not like you can even go in store and pick it up. So just something to be aware of. If you tend to get crushed products from Ulta, which normally I don't have too horrible of luck when it comes to that, but I know a lot of other people say like every time they order from Ulta, their products are crushed. It just might be something to take into consideration. So I actually pressed it back together with just like a little bit of rubbing alcohol, but I do think the texture might have changed. I can't say for sure because mine was, again, completely shattered, but online, I don't know, that looks pretty. I was going to say online the color is very, very soft, and I feel like because it got crushed and mixed up, it's almost a little bit darker than it looks online. So if you have this, does yours look like this or is it lighter? It is a baked highlighter, so I kind of assumed it would have like the same texture or the same finish as the Pure Nude baked highlighter from Essence, which I love so much. Okay, this, I like it. It's really, really pretty. I thought this might be a good option because Pure Nude is so gorgeous, but I loved the idea of a baked highlighter with like a pinky peachy tone to it. I'm glad I was able to save it, press it back together. At first I was like, this is not even worth the effort because I made such a mess. But because I went online and I saw that other people had the same experience, like theirs arrived crushed, I was like, I'm not even going to bother asking for a replacement because it might just end up arriving crushed again. And I was like, I can save it. I can do it. So wow, this is a gorgeous color. I love it. I hope it's showing up on camera. Like as an inner corner highlight, it has the perfect amount of pink to it. Like it is a very bright base, but there's just like a touch of pink that looks so pretty. It looks really, really gorgeous on the skin. I wanted to use the Catrice Melt and Shine Juicy Lip Balms. Let me swatch these to see which shade would be better. So I have 2. I got Secret and then I also got Lost at Sea. Okay, everyone in the whole world is coming out with these, so you can really just take your pick when it comes to which brand you like, which colors you like, because in the end, they're all pretty similar when it comes down to it. Like the e.l.f. Pout Clout, the NYX, what are they called? Clickin', Slick Clicks, the ColourPop So Juicy. There are probably other drugstore brands that I'm missing. Oh, whoa. Okay, so one of these is very pigmented and one of them is incredibly sheer. This one is Secret. It like barely shows up, and then this one is Lost at Sea. I feel like if I wear this, it might be a little bit too much. Let's just try them both on. I don't know. This formula feels kind of underwhelming. Here I am saying like they're all basically the same. This is not as glossy as I would want it to be. This actually just feels like a tinted lip balm. It's really not even shiny or glossy, and this one has absolutely no pigment. So let's try the other one on. I don't know what it is about this formula. I'm just not loving it. They're like light, almost a little waxy. They're very balmy. They're not super glossy. So if you do prefer like a balmy formula, you might like these. But I really think like every other drugstore brand, NYX, Flower Beauty, e.l.f, ColourPop, I think I would recommend all of those over these. I will wear them a little bit more to see if my opinion changes, but I'm just kind of underwhelmed. Okay, it's just been a few minutes. The kids got home, so of course it was a little bit chaotic, but I did apply the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Oh Snap. I think I'm actually going to go in with one of the ColourPop So Juicy lip oils. I really liked the way that this felt and it wore initially, so I'm curious to know how long it's going to last today as I wear it throughout the day. I don't know which shade to go in with. I'm really tempted to go in with the hot pink one. I just don't know if it's going to be too pink. Let's just try it out. This is the shade Trending Now. The scent is definitely strong. Now that I've kind of used a few other products, so I know how they compare, this one has a very strong pepperminty vanilla scent. I feel like it's a little too pink just for today's look. Like there's just a little bit too much color going on today. Okay, I took most of it off, but I kind of left the base there. I'm going to go in with It's a Date, which is the third one. I didn't wear this one yet either. And this is more of like a true nude. So I kind of have a little bit of a pink base because I still have the liner and a little bit of lip oil left behind. I guess that's not really actually looking that much different, but it's a little more toned down. Okay, I really like these ColourPop lip oils. They look amazing, like very glossy, super juicy. They're pretty thin. They definitely don't have like an overly thick texture. And I know how I guess I kind of described them as sticky in the beginning, but I don't know, they don't feel sticky on the lips. I mean, compared to the Essence lip oil, I might say they're slightly sticky, but they're definitely not sticky like a typical sticky gloss would feel. They're really nice. So I'm curious to see how this wears throughout the day, but I do really like the formula. I think it's smooth, glossy. It gives the lips like a plumped up look. And I mean, there is like that cooling, tingly feel, but it's not uncomfortable or painful. Honestly, I had some really good luck again. I feel like that has been the case for me over the last few weeks. Like there have been so many good launches that I'm just truthfully blown away as a whole. I was planning out my videos for June and I actually had like worst makeup I've tried lately on my list, but I only had like 4 products to include. And normally I film those videos a little bit more regularly, but I just haven't tried a lot of like terrible quality products. So I'll film that video once I actually do try a lot of products that don't end up working for me. But in general, I feel like I've tried a lot of high quality products. There have been so many good launches lately. I don't actually know why I'm sitting here acting surprised. You guys know I love drugstore makeup. There are so many amazing products for affordable prices. And I feel like the brands just keep launching better and better products. So I love to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. If you like drugstore content, I'll put a couple of related videos for you on the screen. But otherwise, I will be back very soon with a new video testing out some additional launches because brands have been releasing products left and right. So you know I'll be here to try them out and tell you whether or not they're worth the money. I'll see you guys very soon with a new one. Bye.